The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
TBS, America's #1 independent television network, presents the following sports exclusive.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And check out every episode of the show at basicallysports.tumblr.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
and this is Andy, and you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Oh, the best parts of this show always happen off the air. The technical difficulties we were just running through were pretty good. So you missed the best part already, folks.
Yeah. Well, if you're watching us live, I don't have an avatar,
which is weird. I don't know. Something has gone terribly wrong with this show already. And Mike, I don't know if it was his internet or this particular instance of StreamYard or something, but he was just halfway able to communicate. So
he's working on. Oh, there he is. He's back. Let's see if that helped. Michael,
hello.
There he is. I think.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you, Mike. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I could hear you perfectly fine. I don't know what
I
the
can hear
problem
you
was.
perfectly fine.
Yeah.
All
I don't know. It's working now.
Everything's working now. So anyway, as we were saying before, Mike, I don't think you caught it, but happy Hanukkah, by the way.
Thank you.
Yep. And it's just, well, you know, it's vast. It's the way we always start the show. It's like every time's the first time. And I know this. If technology, like you wouldn't buy a car with the reliability record that the internet has. You'd be like, I'm not buying that. That's 80% of the time it works. Forget it. I'm not even going to deal with it. So anyway, everybody have a good Thanksgiving, except for Mike, who's Canadian and celebrated it like months ago. But
yes, real Thanksgiving is in October.
right. We understand. It was,
I'm sorry, Mike. You don't celebrate American Slaughter Day?
Oh Jesus! I don't know. Okay, this might be a hot take that some people might not like, but like I don't know. Thanksgiving is supposed to be about you go to your family's place and you have a nice dinner and you hang out with loved ones. If you're going to be
one might say you give thanks.
Yes. If you're going to be that person who shows up to Thanksgiving to like try to guilt trip everyone, like, God damn it, like, just don't be that person. All right. And if anyone listens to this and gets mad at it, I'm sorry, but I don't know if you've all been paying attention, but the world's kind of sucked the last 5 years or so. So
wait, what happened?
give me a fucking break and let me just enjoy some family time without and I'm not talking about anyone here obviously, but just like this hypothetical you trying to turn fucking Thanksgiving into an SJW quest. All right, like can we have that?
Or you know what, and this too, I'm just gonna piggyback on that for just a second. And you know what, don't show up at fucking Thanksgiving thinking that you're on an episode of the Rachel Maddow show or fucking Tucker Carlson or whatever. No one cares. They just don't. Maybe they do, but not today. So fuck off, all of you.
Like,
but, yeah.
you know, politics is a bad. I feel like it's kind of become a tradition for a lot of American families when they get together to like, oh, it's Thanksgiving time for us to get together and argue politics with uncle or aunt, whatever. And I personally have not experienced this phenomena. Thankfully, but I don't know why people. I mean, I'd rather go to any family get together and listen to like everyone discuss their fantasy sports teams for like 5 hours,
right?
Than any political crap.
Yeah. So like the way it works in our family is everyone in our family is on the same side of things, except over the last 4 years, myself and my girlfriend. Anybody can try to take a stab at why the last 4 years in particular have swayed somebody to the other side of a thought discussion.
I can't imagine. What could it be? What happened, Zach? What happened in politics?
And so,
did something big happen?
Well, and like my family is one of those families that unfortunately discusses politics in the same wavelengths as if they were sports. Right.
No.
And so like the thing that happens now is we have these discussions and they bring them up and I don't say anything. My girlfriend doesn't say anything, and someone will have to turn to us and like be, oh, sorry about that, honey. Didn't mean to do anything. It's like we didn't say anything. we were accepting what was happening. We didn't try to make this a fight. We were letting you go about your business, and we're just going to keep to ourselves. You were the one that decided to point out that, oh, you are the other in this conversation, so let's dissect that. It's like, well, we didn't want to do that, and we don't want to do it now. So
it's the concept of a hostage audience. Hostage audience that has to sit there and be subjected. It's like, I can't just leave because we're sitting here trying to have a meal in a family get together, and you're like, I know I'm making you uncomfortable, so I'm going to just run my mouth. Blah, 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 blah. But
well, it was really fun. I think it was last year because the media is the devil, and I am the media, as it were.
Devil.
So my the person my mother married, did this whole thing where he was going off on the media, and he's like, oh, well, not you. You're one of the good ones. Like, he had to stop in the middle of what he was saying, see that I was sitting there looking at him, and be like, oh, not you, though. You're fine. Like, okay.
Man.
So everyone else I work with sucks, but I'm fine because I'm right in front of you. That's good.
You should be running the place, Zach. If they're all that bad, you're the only good one. They should pay you more. Don't you think?
That you're one of that. Every time I've heard that you're one of the good one thing, it's always been in a racial context,
right?
And it makes my stomach hurt when I hear it, because it's like, oh no, it's like, well, XYZ was a good one. I worked with him, and I actually had a relationship with him. But the rest of them, it's like, no, that's not a good take. Don't say those things out loud. Don't think those things. I mean, don't say them. It's like, oh, God, don't say them.
Yeah, we've been fortunate that rarely ever happens. So it's a good thing. The politics never comes up because there's, like my mom and dad are both gone now, but back then it was like my dad just wouldn't have it. It was like, you're not doing this here today, and he would just like straight up go, just we're not doing it. My mom never let it happen either. And then Shelly's family, it's so like, you walk into that house at Thanksgiving and you're running the entire spectrum of political viewpoints. So it's kind of tough to really get an art, to have one side dominate, because we're all over the place. So it works out well. And everybody's like, well, fuck it. We're just not going to bother.
And the fun part too, is this year we had our conspiracy theory loving cousin show.
I do love conspiracy theory. I got to admit, even if it's.
And I will say a couple. The craziest one I heard was a few months ago when she came over for dinner, and she was basically saying that China had bought up all of Australia's water and was holding it hostage from them.
That's an interesting take.
Which I looked it up, and it's like, technically, like, yes, China bought some water rights in Australia, but it was like 0.5% of the water in all of Australia. Anyway, and again, this is a thing where everybody else was on the other side. They were my grandparents, my grandfather specifically is a religious Fox News watcher and a Tucker Carlson aficionado. And then my conspiracy-loved cousin points to one of my uncles who's wearing a Black Rifle Coffee T-shirt. Okay. And it was like, not pointing out, like, not related to anything else. She was in the middle of saying something else, stopped what she was saying, pointed at his shirt and said, they didn't support Kyle Rittenhouse, just to let you know. It was like, what are we? I'm going back inside. This is stupid. I'm going to go.
People like that Black Rifle Coffee Company. I don't know a lot about. First off, I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't know. It might be great coffee. I really don't know. But people were dragging them because they contributed to Democratic, like, congressional races and stuff. It's like, do you guys get how this works? Yes, they're run by veterans, and that's a good thing. A lot of the profits go to veterans and all that stuff, but they don't have to be in lockstep with you to, but they're like, I'll never drink it again because they donated to, some fuck stick out in the middle of goddamn Wyoming who happened to be a Democrat. They gave him $200. It's like, oh no, we can't have that. It's like, oh my God, just stop already. Come on.
Right.
I miss when, go ahead, Zach. Sorry.
No, just it was an interesting example of not only are all of you on the same side, but now you're actually arguing about being on the same side. So that's good.
Let me ask. I mean, look, I don't mean to make assumptions about anyone here, but I am going to just ask. has anyone? And I guess Zach, the story you shared happened to you. But like in an ethnic sense, has anyone here actually had that you're one of the good ones directed at you?
In an ethnic sense?
Yes. Or a racial sense?
Not
no.
like you have, I would imagine.
Yeah, no.
I mean, literally, it's just the journalist thing. But no, I think we're all pretty down the middle white.
My mom's family is pretty down the middle, white, Anglo-Saxon Canadian. Sure. There's it's British, Scandinavian, Protestant.
We're a good Irish Catholic family here.
My dad's side though were Eastern European Jews. And it is, for the most part, that's actually never been much of a problem. But I do remember, this was back when I was still living in Canada. It was at Canadian Thanksgiving, actually. I was at my uncle's place, and my uncle was dating a woman who it was getting serious, and they were talking about marriage, and we had a get together where it was me, my uncle, my grandmother, and then her family and acquaintances, and one of them broke that out on me. It's like, oh, you're one of the good Jews.
As opposed to what?
Yeah. And that was an interesting Thanksgiving.
Oh man, I am so sorry that happened, Mike.
I mean, it's whatever. I just wanted to bring it up because it's like, no, yes, even in Canada, this fucking holiday just, I don't know,
one of the
brings
good
out
ones, huh?
the worst.
Yeah, it's just like people feel the need to fill the conversation of the day, and it's like, there's football on. Can we not just go look at that instead?
It was.
Go ahead.
It was Bears Lions, to be fair, so it wasn't good football.
But and even Joe Buck was tired of fucking being there.
I mean,
so funny.
Joe Buck's. What did he say when the Lions scored to them? They don't score. You don't see that a lot, or something like that.
Not used to scoring touchdowns, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on fire for a couple days there.
He was really dragging the Lions that whole game.
With what was it with Aaron Rodgers when it's like, oh, he got some sort of, I guess, pain injection to his broken toe, painkiller injection to his broken toe. It's like, oh, I guess you could say the toe was immunized.
Yeah, he was.
That was open.
That was a surgical strike right there.
Open mic night in the booth there on Thanksgiving. I mean,
I guess it's safe to say that Joe Buck is he's turned the corner. I think we all like him now, right? I liked him for a few years. I mean, long before he decided to go full. Lions are terrible, and I don't care.
I don't know. I still think he's a bit dull. I'm never really going to forgive him for that the Giants Patriots Super Bowl, where he called probably one of the greatest plays in the history of the NFL. It was just a check down.
Yeah, but I think that Joe Buck and this Joe Buck are completely different people at this point. That Joe Buck was still trying his ever-loving heart out to be Pat Summerall. And this Joe Buck is now just being Joe Buck. He's just being a guy, calling a game.
I think he's even admitted that he tried to be Pat Summerall.
Right, yeah.
To do that, yeah. So that's I enjoy him now. I mean, I would much rather listen to him than when you're a Browns fan. Sometimes you get the I guess the guys they just call up off the street and go, "Hey, you want to call an NFL game?" They're like, "Sure, let's give it a go."
Who's oh God, any love for Tony Romo, or has everyone sort of fallen out of love with him?
I like him.
I think he's fine. I think his days of being like, "Oh my God, did you hear that? Tony Romo guessed the play correctly." I think we've gone past that. Now he's just another guy on TV making a lot of money.
Yeah, and not only that, but I think too that he started it where now everybody's trying to do it.
Yeah,
and that takes away what made it special when he did it. And
sure,
now you've even got announcers. I was watching one of the Thanksgiving Day games. I can't remember who it was. It wasn't obviously Detroit, or no, was it? Okay, it was the NBC game, maybe. I don't remember, but the announcer even tried, or maybe it was a college football game. God, I don't know. I watched so much fucking football since Thursday. I can't keep it straight. But one of the announcers actually went for the guess the play, what they're going to run thing, and I thought, wow, this Romo effect has really permeated announcing throughout football. So yeah, I still like him. It's
one that an announcer that I was sort of exposed to. I don't know. Like, I'm sure I must have seen games with that he was calling. I mean, I just blocked it out. But the one that I really picked up on it this past Sunday was the Bucks Colts game. Greg Olson.
Yeah.
He's an interesting voice.
I like him. He's good, but he sounds like he's like a 16-year-old in there. Like,
well, yeah, no. It's a combination of like his voice just sounds like he's a teenager, and then like he also is like sort of coming at what I kind of found refreshing is that he was coming at it was a sort of like wide-eyed, like, I'm calling an NFL game. It's so cool, guys.
Exactly. He's sitting there like, this is fucking awesome. I'm loving this. This is so much fun.
And he's like, did you see that? Did you see? And it's like, yes, Greg. Yeah, he's like, I don't know. It's
in the commercial breaks. He's like, Mom, Dad, are you listening? Are you listening? I mean, that's what he reminded me of. He's good, but he has a real, like you said, Mike. It's just like an enthusiasm, which is
a sort of like naive enthusiasm where he's just really excited. Like you get the feeling that you could stick him on like Lions Jaguars, and he'd be so happy that he got to do it.
Oh, and it would be infinitely better, I'm sure.
Well, at least something interesting would be going on. But I don't know. I thought the Thanksgiving games this year, I thought the first two games were pretty interesting at very least.
Yeah, I mean,
Cowboys. That Cowboys Raiders game was.
I mean, the Cowboys-Raiders game was legitimately good, and the Lions-Bears game was like...
Lions-Bears game was at least close.
Yeah, it was close. It was a bad game, but it was a close bad game, so it was like a bad game where you were like, oh, this kind of sucks, but like the score was too close, you're like, I don't really feel like I can leave.
Yeah, it's a thing of, well, the Lions might just win here, so let me stick around to the end.
They teased that quite a bit.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with the Lions, though. It's like they're just enough to you go, well, gosh, I don't want to miss it if they win. They never do.
Well, how many games has this Lions team lost on a last-second field goal?
At least 3.
Yeah, a handful, I would say. The hardest part of watching the game, speaking of Tony Romo, he is an alumnus of also my alma mater, Eastern Illinois University, as is the general manager of the Bears, Ryan Pace. And so the Bears they're not a good team. And Ryan Pace has been a mediocre to bad general manager. And the Bears are not putting on an entertaining product on the field. But Tony Romo has called 2 Bears games this year. And each time he has gone out of his way to say, yeah, like these Ryan Pace has put together a team. They're better than their record. They're actually pretty good. And
I noticed that he was really carrying some. He was carrying some water.
He was doing a fellow EIU Panther favor there, or trying to like upsell him to the watching nation as being like, hey, I'm a respected broadcaster, former player. I wink, wink, believe that this Bears team is actually good. It's like, you watching the same game I am, dude? These guys suck. This team sucks.
These guys might lose to the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, and I mean, they, like you said, it was an entertaining affair. I was very conflicted. I mean, I was very sick watching it, but I was incredibly conflicted. Just like the whole week, there's been this stuff about Matt Nagy getting fired. They already announced. They said, the rumor is this Pulitzer Prize winning reporter had a source in the Bears that said Matt Nagy will be fired Friday after the Thanksgiving game, which is ludicrous because if this was on like Monday or Tuesday that this came out, and it's like, why would you say, listen, Matt, we're going to fire you Friday, okay? But we need you to go out there and coach on Thursday, okay? So go ahead and do that. And it all was unfounded, but you had fans chanting fire Nagy at like his kid's football game. this kid, I think, at a play a football game.
man.
There was
There
was also Fire Nagy chants at
The Bulls game, I think.
at the AEW Dynamite show
Really?
for Thanksgiving because it was in Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, it
It was in Chicago. Yeah, people
permeated. Yeah.
No, it's actually kind of funny because if you watch it, like they were the crowd was chanting "Fire Nagy" right before the show went on air, and then like almost as soon as the live broadcast started, they played CM Punk's music to shut it all up, and then it's CM Punk Chicago, so everyone went crazy, and then but I just found that timing very, very kind of coincidental.
Yeah. Well, the Bears went on and they rallied to defeat the intimidating Lions.
The
very
10-1 Detroit Lions.
Well, to be fair, you had to use your backup quarterback.
And he looked pretty good. I mean, after watching, and Justin Fields, he's talented, but he has not been fun to watch learning on the job. I mean, Andy Dalton's at least. He fucked his ribs up. Sorry. Yeah, he messed his ribs up, so he's going to be out a few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it also didn't help that the kneecap biter called back-to-back timeouts, which
I was telling
real Andy Reid move there.
Yeah, because I was listening to the game on the car on the drive home and or on the drive to my parents, and they did back-to-back timeouts, and there's a penalty for it. I turned to my wife and I was like, man, I never back-to-back timeouts a penalty. I've never heard that before. I mean, she didn't give a shit because she hates football, but I thought it was interesting that I can't believe that has almost watching football for over 20 years. I don't think I've seen that.
I saw it one at a time. It was in a college game. I can't remember who was playing, but I did see it happen once before.
Huh.
Yeah, because it's considered just like delay of game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Or even, I thought it was put in to stop guys from doing it to ice kickers. I thought that's why they put it in there.
Okay.
Because I don't feel like it's an old rule. Like I think it's fairly recent.
Yeah, that sounds right to me too. I don't recall it being. Well, you would think that one timeout should be enough to get the job done, right? You don't need two. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
It's Dan Campbell. It's the Lions. Fuck, anything's possible.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. Poor Lions. Part of me's like, I should become a Lions fan because, man, you want to talk about really earning it if it ever happens. That'd be it.
Jared Goff now, by the way, is a full 0-16-1 without Sean McVay. So he's got a full season of non-Sean McVay football under his belt.
Well,
and not a win to show for it.
I was a little concerned about him way back when they drafted him, and he didn't know which direction the sun came up in. And I thought, well, this isn't probably good.
Yeah,
I'd like my quarterback to at least have a rudimentary grasp of how the planet works.
Oh, I know. I trust me. You heard me. I defended that boy for quite a many start. I'm like, no, it's fine. It's fine. He's fine. This is fine. We went to a Super Bowl. It's fine.
He did do that. You got to give him credit for that. He did do that.
So this rule, I guess, has been in place since the early 2000s. I'm going to guess around 2006, 2007. So
that sounds about right.
Really,
yeah.
But we did, and we can keep talking NFL here. But as far as picks go, things are getting interesting. Folks.
Yeah, we had a up and down week, didn't we?
So week 11,
it's not over yet, right? Though
no.
Tonight.
Yeah, my game's picking tonight. So yeah,
to be played.
What a barn burner that's gonna be! Can't wait to not watch Monday Night Football tonight.
Who is it tonight? Was it like the
Seahawks? 32 Seahawks.
Oh, for God's sake! Really?
At Washington?
Yeah. Battle of Washingtons. Whoever loses gets to change their name again.
So I want to play out tonight, but so we all won last week. And we all won the week before last, rather, the show we missed. This past week, Greg, you correctly picked the 49ers to win, moving you to 5-7. Zach incorrectly picked the Titans to beat the Patriots. I'm sorry, their shoulder swords let you down.
Yeah, I just assumed they had swords on their shoulders and therefore
They should cut right through that Patriots defense.
Yeah.
So Zach and I are now tied. I picked the Rams. Silly me. Aaron Rodgers, the great Satan himself, willed them to a victory. So me and Zach are now tied at 7-5. Greg at 5-7, and Mike is currently at 9-2. But a loss makes things a little interesting. So we'll see. We'll see if the 32s.
I picked the 32s, and I stand by that because fuck Russell Wilson.
Okay, very well.
As always.
I mean, Russell Wilson is coming off his first ever 3-game losing streak, so he's got to do something for those hospital kids.
He did a fucking commercial for was it Subway or some sub place? I don't remember which one. And right away I thought, I will never eat at this place. No matter I could be fucking starving, crawling on my hands and knees, like I'll go down to the Arby's. I'm not eating here. Oh, that guy.
I don't even know what a Russell Wilson like commercial would be like. I can only imagine it being like the most I don't know, like plasticky fake smile, like hey guys.
That's pretty much what it was. Yeah, so are we doing you want to do the picks for next week now?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I got 4 games picked out from next week. So let's see. Greg, since you are still falling behind, do you want to pick first or pick last?
I'll go first.
Okay, 1 through 4.
I'm going to go 1 right off the top.
All right, you are picking the Baltimore Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, God. That game could go in 35 different directions. None of them good. It's at Pittsburgh?
Correct, yeah.
I think this is a pretty easy.
Yeah, I got to go with the Ravens.
Yeah. The way the Steelers looked yesterday, you know, despite the 4 interceptions from Lamar, the Steelers look cooked.
Yeah, I just, while we're here, Baker Mayfield, I get it. You're like trying to show how tough you are and all that, but you're the Black Knight from the Holy Grail at this point. You're out there on one leg claiming it's a flesh wound and trying to fight, and you can't just sit the fuck down, please. All right, sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. All right, so Zach, let's see. Zach, go ahead and pick 1 through 3.
Let's just go number 1 again.
All right, you are picking the Cowboys at the Saints.
Let's go with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. All right, Mike, can you pick 1 or 2 for me, please?
2.
Okay, I'm picking the Chargers at the Bengals.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah. This is interesting.
This seems very easy to me.
Well, I mean, the Chargers, these records are similar. I mean, the Bengals are hot. I'll go ahead and take the home team. I'm guessing they're going to get a field goal. So why not? Go Bengals. All right, Mike, you are picking the Patriots at the Bills.
Ooh.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. You know, we've been talking about it. Like, we've been talking about it in the group chat about how it's nice that for the 20 minutes that the Patriots weren't good, they're good again.
How did we as a society let this happen?
The Bills have oh god, I'm even hearing people saying Belichick should get Coach of the Year.
I mean,
you know what? I wouldn't rule it out.
Who else would you give it to?
Right.
Cliff Kingsbury, I guess.
He's the only other option. But yeah, then you got the Bills who hit a bit of a skid, but they seemed to correct the ship on Thanksgiving. They beat the Saints pretty handily. But you know what? I've been pretty rough on the Bills. I've I was even saying that, you know, they're falling into the pattern where they start off strong and then they fuck it all up. But I really don't know where to go with this. I just have like a gut feeling, so I'm just going to go with the gut. Bills. The Bills are going to win this.
Okay.
So
All right.
it's either that or the Empire will be fully restored.
Yeah, no. If it's if the Bills lose and the Patriots solidify their death grip on the division again, then
This Death Star is fully operational. It's been kind of remarkable to watch. I mean, they're using a quarterback from Alabama. The last one of those that did anything was like Namath, probably Ken Stabler. We'll give Ken Stabler some love here, but yeah. And it just like, didn't they start out? Weren't they like 3-4 or something to start?
They've won 5 straight games.
Okay, so yeah, they were 3-4 then because they're 8-4 now, right?
Yeah, they were 3-4 at one point, and now.
And like I said, I hope we all enjoyed the 20 minutes where they weren't the elite of that division because we're right back where we started.
Well, it comes down to the same problems that frankly caused this during the Brady years, which is who else is in that division? You've got, the Bills doing what the Bills do. The Jets are the Jets, and the Dolphins had a really good season last year. Everyone thought they'd come out and take it to the next level, but they have regressed considerably. So it's
they're finally turning it around, but way too late, I think.
Yeah, and so you look at you just look at it, and I mean, you just look at the division, and it's like the only way that, like Zach, you asked how could we as a society let this happen? It's you look at the division, and the only real safeguard against the Pats being dominant again was okay if the Bills can hold firm, then everything will be okay. But they build, so there you go.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the standings and the playoff kind of picture stuff, and I don't know. I think that I would like to kind of remind myself that this is a bit of a longer season as well. So injuries and streaks could make a lot of difference. It's hard. I was watching football this Sunday to kind of see what a good football team looks like and does. Because after watching the Bears in Lions, it's made me almost completely forget what good football is and looks like. So it was kind of interesting to see some teams actually be competitive and run NFL tiers of offense and defense. But this season, even though it's just an extra week long, I feel like it's longer, significantly longer than usual.
Yeah, I agree. It's been a yeah.
Hey, what the hell is going on too? By the way, I'm seeing all these baseball deals being announced today. Was there some deadline or something?
So the CBA expires on December 1st.
Oh, everyone wants to get in and get their money,
and they don't have a deal in place yet. So yeah, everybody's trying to get their money in when they can. So that's why you're getting all this action ahead of Wednesday.
The next Scherzer, was he still with Washington, or was he? I thought he went to like the Dodgers or somebody.
Yeah, he got traded to the Dodgers,
and now he's back with the Mets.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, not back with the Mets.
No, but I mean he's back in the East Coast.
Yeah, back east.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Which is too bad. I mean, the Angels were supposedly the number 2 team, but I guess the Mets severely overpaid compared to what the Dodgers and Angels were offering. So,
well, we know how that'll work out.
Yeah.
I mean, you see this with the Rangers. Gave Corey Seager
really gearing up.
Yeah, Corey Seager got 10 years, $325 million, no opt out.
For what?
To play baseball.
I know that, but I mean, come on. Oh, wait, is he the one with the Dodgers, or the one with the Seager with the Mariners? Which one is he? Aren't there 2 of them?
Corey Seager. I know little about him.
Because there's one that I think plays for
the Dodgers guy.
Yeah. He's pretty good. I don't know, man. What's that, like $32 million a year or something like that? No, wait. Yeah, right?
He's 27 years old. I mean, I feel like the last time something like this happened, it was A-Rod, and that was what feels like a million years ago.
I'd play for like a tenth of that. They could pay me a lot less. I'd do it. Probably not as well, but I'd be a lot cheaper.
Doesn't getting these contracts done before CBA? I mean, are they expecting the CBA to like cut a lot of the potential dollars down or something?
Or
I-
or a strike or something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think maybe it's a thing where they don't want to have to let it drag out, or they don't want some sort of cap put on contracts, because I'm sure there's something, because I mean we've all seen it, that these contracts have really kind of gotten out of control the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's not like baseball's ever going to get a salary cap put in, but there is some sort of limitations coming, it seems like.
Well, I don't think a salary cap's the worst idea for baseball. I mean, the NFL has one, right? The NBA's got one. Well, the NBA's a bad example. I was going to say, look how competitive it is, but it really kind of isn't.
Well, they do have a cap, but there's the luxury tax, which several teams are willing to just accept and pay.
I think that the answer in baseball isn't a cap so much as a minimum. You have to spend this much money.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Teams like the Royals and the Twins and the Guardians, who are just going to I mean, I watched like all-star players getting traded left and right all season with the Indians, now Guardians, this year, because they're wiping money from the books. They're going to go cheap and go prospects again, and they'll build it back up, maybe make a playoff run and start all over. It's like that's fine if it succeeds, and so far they've been lucky with that. But there are going to be times where it doesn't work. You're not going to be the Houston Astros or one of the teams that like the Pittsburgh Pirates tried it, didn't work. So now you've got Pirates fans sitting out there going, well, what's the point of this again? We're going to go 57 and 105. Why bother? So I think that a salary floor, or whatever you want to call it, they should implement that for sure, because this is ridiculous. Watching these teams like basically trot out a quadruple A team and call it a Major League Baseball team.
I wanted to ask Mike and Zach. You guys are a little bit more in tune with hockey. I was trying to get a firmer understanding of what went down between, I guess, Brandon Lemieux Jr. and Brady Tkachuk. So Brandon Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk recently,
and Brandon Lemieux.
Yeah, both. Tkachuk is, I guess, the captain of the lowly Ottawa Senators.
Correct.
And Lemieux bit him, I guess.
They were in a fight in the corner. They rolled down onto the ice, and while they were on the ice, it looked like Brady was trying to push Lemieux away with his hands on his face, and it would seem, based on the distinct semicircle of blood on Brady Tkachuk's hand, that Brendan Lemieux did indeed bite him. If you saw the video, the slow-mo of when Brady Tkachuk gets out of the pile, and he so very clearly says, "He bit me. He fucking bit me." That's bullshit. I love a good lip read slow-mo video like that. So yeah, biting in hockey frowned upon generally.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with that. And it's also interesting just because they're both sons of former NHLers, with obviously Keith Tkachuk and Claude Lemieux, known instigator, and his son seems to be taking after him. And then, of course, after the game, Brady Tkachuk had this long tirade.
Great quote. Yeah.
I'm going to pull it up because I have it. I sent it out just the other day.
I got to hear. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so this is the quote. "This is the one time I'm going to answer this," Tkachuk said. "It was the most gutless thing somebody could ever do. This guy, you can ask any one of his teammates, nobody ever wants to play with him. This guy is a bad guy and a bad teammate. He focuses on himself all the time. The guy's just a joke. He shouldn't be in the league. The guy's gutless. No other team wants him. He's going to keep begging to be in the NHL, but no other team is going to want him. He's an absolute joke. I can't even wrap my head around it because people don't do this. He's just a bad guy. It's outrageous. Kids don't even do that anymore. Babies do that. I don't even know what he's thinking. He's just a complete brickhead. He's got nothing up there. Bad guy, bad player, but what a joke he is." And then Jonathan Quick defended him today or yesterday and said, "No, he's a great teammate. How dare Brady Tkachuk say those things about our boy?" And it's,
well,
yeah. It was almost getting into like Trumpian kind of territory there. Terrible guy, the worst guy, awful guy. I just love how he just completely stripped him down. The fight clearly not over there between two guys who are probably both kind of assholes, I would imagine.
Somebody also dug up video of their dads fighting in the World Cup.
Brady Tkachuk is Keith Tkachuk's son, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I thought so.
Yeah. So Keith Tkachuk and Claude Lemieux fought in the World Cup back in the day.
So this is like a Hatfield McCoy's type of thing.
Yeah.
Generational action. Nice.
Yeah. And to back up Brady a little bit, Jonathan Quick, is going to defend him because he's on the team right now, but it sounded like he got ran out of the New York Rangers because everybody didn't like him. He apparently had a big reputation in juniors of being kind of a dick. So this isn't like a new thing for Brendan Lemieux. So I think I'm more willing to believe what Brady Tkachuk had to say. And yes, he was the bitten party in this case, but yeah,
the ID, as it were.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like
everyone's asking, and I did see a good tweet of everybody's been checking on players' COVID shots this season, but nobody's been asking about their rabies shots.
That's pretty.
Well,
fun.
I don't know. I think if you're biting or licking another player, you're pretty fucking out to lunch. Like, just don't do that shit.
Yeah.
God, it's weird.
The last time I remember anything like this happening, I mean, we had the Brad Marchand licking, but Alex Burrows, I think, was the last guy to bite someone. Like, it's weird that this is not the first time that we've had to deal with this, but I guess if you don't want to be bitten, don't put your hand in your guys' mouths.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like everyone for years said goalies were the weird ones. Nah, man, goalies don't. You never hear anything about a goalie biting you. So
goalies also wear full face cages, so it's a little bit harder.
I've watched a ton of hockey, Mike. I've never seen a goalie bite a single person.
Look, I'm just saying,
maybe that's why goalies wear the face cages, because if they didn't, they'd bite anybody that came in the crease.
Goalie's the coolest position in all the professional sports, first off. So let's just make that clear. And I got to play at one time in street hockey, and it was like, this is the best fucking thing I've ever done in my life. Still is to this day. I had so much fun. But
I don't want to steer the conversation too much here, but I feel like we've gone over 40 minutes into our show here, and we've yet to truly comment on the biggest thing that happened to any of our teams this weekend. The Ohio State Buckeyes finally lost to Jim Harbaugh.
I want to point out a couple of things here with this. Okay, first off,
the day the music died.
First, you guys realize this is the first time in the history of this show that I'm coming in here off of a Michigan loss. It had never happened during the history of the show until this Saturday.
It's pretty incredible.
It cracks me up because the Michigan fans are acting like that the world's been set right on its axis or something like this. Like, this is the way it was supposed to be. It's yeah, fuck you guys. I mean, honest to God, from what I've seen on Twitter and what I've seen with my Facebook friends and all that, they're more concerned about how we're reacting to getting beat by them than they are about beating us. It's like they're more worried about what we're saying, like, because we're going.
Greg, when you've lost 8 times in a row to the people that you hate the most,
well, yeah,
and you've only won twice in 20 years, I think that they're going to relish it a little bit more than. That's what
I'm saying, though. But they're relishing it, but in weird ways. It's like they're like going, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? It's like, you kicked our asses. Good for you. Go.
Yeah, they want to drink up your tears. They want to fill up their tanks.
That's the thing. There are no tears, and I hate to break this to them, but you know what? It doesn't. It means way more to you than it does to us. I promise you that. Right?
There it is. There it is.
That will change as the years go on and you become more competitive. But right now,
more competitive.
Second fucking homecoming.
This is. I think this might be more. Aloof than the time when after the Lakers beat the Heat, and Zach was just like, the Heat should have just been lucky that they were gifted the opportunity to lose.
I will admit that Michigan Wolverines kicked our asses on Saturday. That is
they truly
did. Dominated that football game, and there's no two ways about it. That being said,
I think that's what's more strange about it. Is not it wasn't like they overcame some great odds. They just fucking beat the shit out of Ohio State
from start to finish. No question about it. I won't even dispute that. I mean, it's like, look, but the thing is, and I don't mean this to be in a disparaging way, but the truth of the matter is when you've won 18 out of the last 20, I'm sorry if it's just not that big a deal to us that you beat us. It's, I mean, I wish it were a bigger deal, but it's not, you know?
Yeah, no, Michigan needs to win the next 8 themselves, and then, you know.
Then we'll talk. I will to give them credit. I will say this: back in 2002, which was like the last time this game even fucking mattered to us, was when we beat them to go to the national championship game and play Miami that year. We reacted the same way. But when you've run off a streak like we have for 20 years, yeah, you're going to get more excited about beating us than we are going to get upset about you beating us. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry that we're not upset enough that you won. So go fuck yourselves. Well, at the end of the day, he's still Jim fucking Harbaugh. All right, let's quit acting like oh my God. See, we knew he was a great coach all along. No, the law of big numbers said that fucker was going to beat us at least once, and he did it. Good for him. He's John fucking Cooper in maize and blue. So kiss my ass.
Let me just.
Yeah, but the memes, Greg. The Ohio State let us all down. We could have had the meme train could have continued.
Don't worry, because come next Saturday when Iowa kicks their asses, we'll be right back to where we were. It's like I hope that doesn't happen. I really, in my heart of hearts, I would love to see them do well, make the playoff, and make a run at this. I really would. I mean, there are rivals, but it's a respect thing too.
Yeah, they have yet to make the playoff and get dump trucked by Alabama. That's something that everybody gets to do.
Go in there and get your ass kicked by Georgia. That's fine. But my concern, if I'm a Michigan fan right now, is that this was such like they won the Super Bowl, and it's like you still got a game to play, guys, against a pretty good football team. Iowa's. I mean, I think that on most days Michigan should beat Iowa, but I wouldn't sleep on them either. So anyway, you know what? I'm happy for them. I'm glad you guys. And this is going to sound really arrogant. I don't give a fuck, but it's more of a rivalry when you guys are good. And lately, it hasn't been a rivalry. It's been a second homecoming game. So fuck off, and that's all I have to say about it. There you go. And he's still Jim fucking Harbaugh, no matter how you shake it.
You know what? I'm hearing this, and it just makes me think of Aaron Rodgers doing the "I fucking own you. I've always fucking owned you."
I forgot to mention that too. And we still own you. You still. So fuck off. That's the end of it.
No, I don't want to put. I don't think Ohio State. I have no skin in this game at all. I don't give a shit. But the arrogance.
I may be going a little bit I may be putting on a bit of a show here. I don't know that.
I understand. It feels like a bit of a coping mechanism to be like, listen, nobody cares. It's like that whole thing. What's the scene from that shitty Street Fighter movie where this girl is talking about how M. Bison,
for you, the day the bison graced your village, it was the greatest moment of your life. For me, it was Thursday or something.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
For you, this is the greatest moment of your fucking lives. For me, it was Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm an Ohio State fan. I'm an Ohio State alumni. We fucking own you. Kiss my ass. Fuck off.
It was a big deal for them. They literally never played in the Big Ten title game, and now they get to.
When I look, 575 times, actually 575 episodes of a fucking podcast took place from the time you last beat us, and we only do this once a week. So that's I don't know how that worked out, but so fuck off. Celebrate all you want, have fun, and you know what? Come next year, we're going to go right back to the way things were, and that's that. Because he's still Jim fucking Harbaugh, you're still Michigan, and we're still the Ohio State University. Fuck off.
Get your fucking shine box. It's
a shine box, right?
Well,
I was more than I planned to say about that, but you know what?
Well, no, I did want to bring up I thought I watched more college football this weekend than I did pro football.
Me too.
I was besides the Rams game, I was kind of wholly uninterested with the rest of the NFL this week. But I was glued all of Saturday between Michigan Ohio State game, the Iron Bowl, Bedlam.
Hey, we got some
fucking Iron Bowl game.
Guys, we got some breaking news here. So LSU is going to hire Notre Dame's Brian Kelly as their next head coach.
Whoa,
Wow, that's kind of a weird move, isn't it?
Yeah, just about 3 minutes ago from Pete Thamel of
Urban
Yahoo
Meyer
Sports.
is getting nervous. All the good jobs are disappearing.
Brian Kelly seemed like Notre Dame till he retired, sort of thing.
Well, yeah, don't you think too that I mean I don't know from like a national a status standpoint, isn't Notre Dame kind of the bigger job of those two? I mean, LSU's not a bad gig. Don't get me wrong, but
with Notre Dame,
it's the SEC. It's the SEC though. So if you can pull off a run in the SEC, you're basically guaranteed a playoff spot.
Right?
Yeah, but didn't Brian Kelly? He's the winningest Notre Dame coach of all time now, right?
I think that's correct.
Isn't that right?
Yeah, but never won a national title.
No, but like he's gotten that program to a spot where I think a lot of us didn't think that they could get back to, where they compete nationally again. Like they're what are they right now? They're fifth in the rankings. They were sixth in the last ranking. Who knows how it's going to play out come tomorrow when the new one comes out? With the Alabama, maybe how far does Alabama fall, if at all? Where does Ohio State go?
Ohio
what do you do with
State's done.
Cincinnati?
Done.
Where do you jump up Oklahoma State?
I think you're looking at Michigan will take Ohio State. I don't think if Michigan will jump to 2. You'll probably see who.
Because right now it's Georgia. Last week it was Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Alabama 3, Cincinnati 4. Then Michigan was 5, Notre Dame 6, Oklahoma State was 7.
Ooh.
So Oklahoma State beat Oklahoma, who was 10th, and Michigan beat Ohio State. And
I don't know, man. See, if I'm Cincinnati, I'm sleeping.
And Cincinnati won again, so that makes Notre Dame's record a little bit better as well. Notre Dame blew out Stanford.
I think what you're going to get this week is not going to matter anyway, because it's not going to the big thing is going to be after next week and after the conference championships and all that. But you got to put Michigan in there somewhere, I would guess. Now, how funny would it be, at least to me anyway, if they did all this and still weren't in the fucking playoff after it was all said and done? Like if Oklahoma State,
No, I mean, I think Michigan makes it. I think the team that everybody is looking to kick out of there is Cincinnati, and
part of me wants them to be there because it would be cool for a non-Power 5 team to be in the playoff. The other part of me is like, you got to be kidding me with this. No. I'm of two minds. I really am. I like it. I think it's great. But if I'm on that committee, I'm going, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't do this, Yeah.
And then what do you do? Like Georgia's going to play Alabama. How far do you knock down Alabama if they lose to Georgia? If Georgia loses, they probably stay in, and that whole thing.
They need
the blueprint for what's going to happen to Cincinnati was what happened to TCU a couple of years ago. Remember?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
TCU was 3. They beat somebody 55-0 and dropped to 6th.
Yep. Yeah. I like I said, if I'm Cincinnati, I'm sleeping with one eye open every night because they're coming to get you.
I mean, God, between Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame again, like I don't think Notre Dame's going to sniff the playoff, but they're right around the edge of it, and that's pretty damn good. Like if Notre Dame's undefeated, Notre Dame's in the playoff every year.
Yeah, but
the one loss they have is to a team that's ranked number 4 right now. So that's like you could do that.
I'm reading
and then you also have Lincoln Riley moving from Oklahoma to SC. Like that, those are pretty seismic moves overall. That's
So what I'm reading this piece on The Athletic, and this came out a few hours ago about LSU pursuing Brian Kelly, and from what this writer is saying, it's Brody Miller, he's an LSU beat writer. He says there's an emphasis on Brian Kelly has been very thorough at scouting in Louisiana and the region. There's a quarterback that was a Walker Howard. He's a 5-star quarterback that's currently playing for LSU, who had a connection to Notre Dame as well. Who I guess they recruited him or so. So I'm curious mostly to the financial windfall of this, because I'm guessing it's going to be historic.
It's going to be quite a lot of money. Because LSU was after Lincoln Riley, who jilted them for SC.
Right. What is like discussing of like college football? Which job is bigger? I mean, to me, personally, I mean, I living up here, kind of in the proximity of Notre Dame, and I mean, I have no, I'm not inside college football enough to know, as far as reverence and all that goes. But I feel like Notre Dame is something of a transcendent institution in college football. That is an iconic school.
Yep.
And Brian Kelly, like you said, he's essentially made himself probably debatably, maybe not even debatably, their greatest coach. And he could coach for another 10, 20 years if he wanted to there.
Yeah.
And just cement his legacy.
The thing with him compared to other Notre Dame coaches of old is the lack of Heisman Trophy winners and the lack of national champions.
Right.
But the thing is, but like I was saying, in the advent of all the movement we had in the college conferences, it threatened to just destroy Notre Dame as a fixture in the college landscape. Like Notre Dame could have gone the way of, I don't know, BYU is doing fine, but as an independent, but they're not to the same level that they could be if they were in a conference, right?
Right.
Sure.
And Notre Dame had the pedigree behind it, but when the conferences all kind of locked together, Notre Dame was going to be left out because there was no title game. There was no way to get in. There was no championship to win. And it's pretty evident over the years that the committee loves these conference championships as part of team's record. But under Kelly, they've kind of negotiated their way to having this deal with the ACC, getting it's hurt Notre Dame a little bit that USC's been down and Stanford's been down, but even keeping the traditional games all in play, Notre Dame under Brian Kelly has remained a national player. They have their TV contract. They are in the top of the college football playoff rankings. Because they've been winning all these games and beating decent teams along the way. So it's been a hell of a coaching job by him to keep them relevant to this degree.
I didn't even say Zach. I think he's brought them back. I think they weren't quite as relevant before he took over.
Because who did he take over for? Do you remember?
Was it?
I don't remember the guy's name, but
Charlie Weiss.
Oh,
Charlie Weiss.
Was it Charlie Weiss?
Yeah,
I think it was Charlie Weiss. I think so.
I mean, they were down in the 8-3 or 9-3, 8-4, 7-5 group, which is not a bad place to be if Rockets or
he took over for Charlie Weiss. This is his 11th season.
Yeah,
he's 106-39.
Damn,
as a coach.
I think he saved them.
That's one more win than Newt Rockne, for God's sakes.
They were fast headed to the a good season for us is the Outback Bowl level of college football before he took over.
Yeah.
So I would say that not only did he, he restored them to a degree too. I would say.
Yeah, because between Lou Holtz, there's only 3 coaches in Notre Dame history with 100 wins: Newt Rockne, Lou Holtz, and now Brian Kelly.
Wow,
Lou Holtz,
even like Ara Parseghian or any of those guys, huh?
Where's Parseghian? Parseghian was 95 wins.
Okay.
Also 11 seasons. 11 seasons is the most. There's Newt Rockne had 13 seasons. Then you have Frank Leahy with 11, Ara Parseghian with 11, Lou Holtz with 11, Brian Kelly with 11. But after Lou Holtz left in 96, you had the Bob Davie, who was 35-25, didn't win a national title. You have a couple interim coaches. Tyrone Willingham, 3 seasons, 21-15.
He came over from Stanford, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Charlie Weiss.
Well, you missed a very important name in there, Jerry Faust, who they got from Cincinnati Moeller High School.
That was before Lou Holtz.
Oh, was it before Lou Holtz?
Yeah.
That I was like, wow, what are you doing here? And oh my God, it was a disaster. But anyway, I would make the argument that Brian Kelly has brought them back to national prominence. I mean, they were never not at a certain level, but they had dropped down from like the tier. They were like a second tier team when they were supposed to be a first tier team for a long time. And they were really, really starting to skate around towards the third tier there before Brian Kelly took over. So good. I still think that going from Notre Dame to LSU, I won't call it a step down, but that's usually not the direction these things go in.
No, but I think it's like Mike said, it's the SEC, right?
Yeah.
So like you're gonna go against Alabama and now in 2 years or whatever, you're going to go against Oklahoma and Texas.
Oh well,
and
you know what?
I know, but there's still names in the landscape. But like, if you can win in the SEC, then you're going to be considered one of the best coaches ever. You know, whereas in Notre Dame, I think maybe what Brian Kelly might have realized is maybe he hit his ceiling.
Could be.
Like, this is as good as you can get Notre Dame to be in college football today.
That I would agree with.
You can't get them to, like, he got them to a national title game, right?
Yeah.
And they got their ass kicked by Alabama.
Yeah.
But they got there. And I think that's a thing of that and adding that in with the playoff results over the last several years. I think maybe he thinks this is the peak of what Notre Dame football can be. And, you know, with Notre Dame's schedule, you have to kind of rely on everybody else you play being very good.
Right.
Like if USC, if say the Pac-12 title game was USC versus Stanford, and both those teams both had one loss, and that loss was to Notre Dame. And Notre Dame was undefeated, and they had beaten everybody on their ACC schedule, and they beat Michigan or whatever Big Ten team they played that year. Then maybe you could say, oh, this is Notre Dame, best team in the country. But they're always going to have that mark against them because they're never going to have a conference championship.
I think
they're always going to be kind of middling in the playoff rankings because of that. And maybe he sees the writing on the wall and says,
yeah,
go get that SEC money.
And until they join a conference, they're always going to be, to an extent at least, on the outside looking into the playoff picture because they are so dependent on everything. Too many other teams.
Yeah.
You know, like Cincinnati, every time that Cincinnati if Cincinnati beats Houston this weekend, it looks a little bit better for Notre Dame. But, you know, beating USC or Stanford this year, that's come on, you know? So they really need to join a conference.
So, I mean,
the ideal fit is the Big Ten, but they're not going to do that. And
what we got Florida, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, and LSU.
Florida got their coach.
Well, I mean, but that's what I mean. They've already hired.
Oh, guys that have hired. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's all this weird turnaround for some pretty prestigious college football school.
Yeah.
Does Urban Meyer go to Notre Dame now, you think? Would they hire that guy with his
oh boy, yeah. Ooh, I think he would want it. I don't know if they would want him.
Well, and this brings up a different question. Did that shit that happened to him in Cincinnati a few weeks back, did college football go, you know what, we're done with this guy?
Not all of college football.
Well, like the Notre Dames, the LSUs.
I think Notre Dame specifically because of its roots as like the Irish Catholic pristine university. But you don't think that he can, coach at Tennessee?
Oh, sure. But I'm talking like the big, like the SCs, I guess LSU you can put up there, but Notre Dame. I'm just wondering if that cost him a tier. Let's put it that way. Like it dropped him down. Where I'd love to see him go to Tennessee. I'd love to see that program come back to prominence again. But I was going to bring up Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC. Before Nebraska joined the Big Ten, they were a perennial power, and look at them now. And the Big Ten is not the SEC. The SEC is much tougher. So,
I think that has a lot to do with a whole lot else. I don't think that's just simply them joining the Big Ten. Like Nebraska as a program just kind of has made the wrong choices and they've lost the battle of like trying to be still relevant to recruits.
Well, so. I mean, you look at it. Okay, if you're a college kid, you're a 5-star recruit. Let's say you're playing in Louisiana, all right, and Nebraska comes calling, and Ohio State and Michigan come calling, and you've got your choice of 3 Big Ten schools. Nebraska's going to be number 3 on that list because it's the middle of a cornfield. And there's a track record. I don't know what you do to fix them.
And with recruits specifically, and I know we can probably change directions here, but with recruits specifically, and especially those 5-star guys, they want to go where they will make it to the NFL.
Right.
And Nebraska has not kept up the lineage of sending guys to the NFL that Alabama has, that Ohio State has, that even Florida and Michigan, for that matter, have.
Yeah.
So,
well, you used to be in Nebraska. I mean, like back in the '90s, it was like their offensive line were going to be top 10 picks every year. I think the The
And
old-
now those guys are all going to Wisconsin and
yeah,
and
the
Iowa.
old Houston Oilers were like 90% Nebraska linemen. You know, it's like,
Yeah,
geez.
and Nebraska, they're the NCAA football equivalent of Pogs. They had their moment. They were in fashion for a little while, and now they're just worthless pieces of cardboard sitting in a shoebox somewhere. I think this college football conversation has killed Mike. I think he has either gone to sleep or he has
Well,
willfully.
Well, I was going to say, for the most part, Greg is the only one that had a bad rivalry loss this weekend because Arizona State beat down AU.
Auburn
go
lost
Devils.
to Alabama. Mike's
Well,
Auburn,
no,
right?
but Mike got a big win for his Western Ontario Mustangs.
Yes, he did.
Indeed. Go Mustangs. Woo!
Well, we're being technical about it. My Toledo Rockets won over the weekend too, but
Oh, okay.
that one doesn't get near
And-
the attention that the that the other game does.
In the rarely talked about world of Canadian university football, the Western Mustangs
Did they win
shellacked.
the Mitchell Cup? Is that what it was?
Yes, the Western Mustangs shellacked St. Francis Xavier X-Men 61-6.
Yeah, well, see those pompous bastards from over at St. Xavier. That'll show them.
It was 23-0 after the first quarter and 51-3 at the half.
Nice. You
Uh,
just get one and put it in the books and be done with it like that, right?
Yeah. And so basically now they will play in the UTEC Bowl. The University of Saskatchewan Huskies defeated the University of Montreal Carabins.
There's some cool names up there. I like it.
They beat Montreal 14-10, so we're gonna have the Western Ontario Mustangs against the University of Saskatchewan Huskies for the Vanier Cup. So,
All right.
And then I know you didn't go to the University of Illinois, Andy, but you do follow Illinois football somewhat, right?
Yeah. They
I saw
had a nice
they,
little
they
win.
beat down Northwestern for Lincoln's hat.
That's
right?
right.
That's
They got
what it is.
the goddamn hat back. Yeah. I'm happy that they're as an organization they're kind of having a nice little renaissance by Illinois football standards anyway. So
and I just wanted to bring up that we had in Canadian college football, university football, we had the Saskatchewan Huskies and the Montreal Carabins. They had a classic Canadian football box score. The fourth quarter. You want to know what the fourth quarter box score was?
Okay.
University of Saskatchewan Huskies 13, University of Montreal Carabins 1.
There you go.
We got a rouge.
Got a rouge.
We got a rouge on the board. So, my only. This is really cool. I know. I think Chaos Blast might be the only person listening who might care, but the Canadian, in the realm of Canadian university football, the University of Western Ontario Mustangs are one of those classic, legendary, I guess, programs. You know, they won a whole bunch of titles back in the day. They won a bunch of titles when my dad was going there. They won a bunch of titles when my grandfather was going there.
Kind of like Michigan. They haven't done shit lately, but they
well, kind of. They didn't do shit when I was there. When I went there, they didn't win anything. But they did win. They did break a championship drought in 2017. They won the Vanier Cup, so they won. They broke that drought a few years back, and now they're going back. So that's really exciting. It's just always cool to see, like, one, because they're like a legacy team, they're a legacy program, so it's nice to see them win again, and two, actually being an alumni, it's really cool to see. I just
Hey,
wish
Mike.
they wouldn't have worn purple monochrome because, god damn it,
Yeah,
like
right.
I need some clarification here. So I'm looking at all these U Sports football teams. So
yes,
there's the St. Francis Xavier X-Men. They are in the same conference as the Acadia University Axemen.
yes.
Sounds like it could be confusing for broadcasters doing that game.
Yes, it is.
There's also a bit of a let's see. There's also the University of Alberta Golden Bears and the Wilfrid Laurier University Golden Hawks.
Yes, Wilfrid Laurier Golden Hawks. Yes.
So I feel like that's a little bit either. But there's the GGs of the University of Ottawa. Very interesting name.
You know what? The University of Ottawa GGs can go fuck themselves.
Oh, okay then.
Look, man. If we're gonna talk about Canadian university football, then you're going to get like a peek into the world that you three never see, where it's like all these weird rivalries that.
I think we just stumbled onto the Ohio State Michigan rivalry.
No. Okay, no. You want to know what the Ohio State Michigan rivalry is? And Canadians elsewhere might hate this because of how Ontario centric it is, but fuck them. We're the best province. It's the Western Ontario Mustangs versus the University of Toronto Varsity Blues. That's Ohio State, Michigan.
Okay.
I don't want your rivalry.
God. and the thing about the Varsity Blues, the thing about the University of Toronto Varsity Blues is that like they've been awful forever. So
Wait, like Michigan.
yeah, I'd say like when I was going there, when I was at Western, our biggest rival was the McMaster Marauders of University of McMaster in Hamilton.
They just sound like a bunch of like chess playing. I don't know what's the McMasters.
McMaster Marauders. It's hilarious because there's another peek into it into the world of Canadian university rivalries is I've known a few people from from McMaster University, and they're all weird. I mentioned this offhandedly to my dad. My dad, like me, is a Western Ontario alum. And when I mentioned, everyone I know who went to McMaster is weird, my dad goes, I know, right? So it's
a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. No. So it's that's kind of but you can find some funny you can find some fun things. For example, going back to what Andy pointed out, the St. Francis Xavier X-Men, their women's team are the X-Women.
Well, that could be taken a lot of different ways.
The Acadia. University of Acadia, Axemen. Of course, they also have the Axewomen, and so you have Axemen and X-Men. But honestly, for my money, the best name in Canadian university athletics, University of Calgary Dinos.
Cool.
Yeah,
here's a link.
That one. That's a good one.
There's a link if you want to see their adorable logo.
All right, let me find it here really quick. Oh, it says I'm getting that my connection is not private. It won't let me go there. Andy,
oh boy. So this is
my computer's fucking up like that lately. I don't know what's going on.
Speaking of which, by the way, I'm getting fiber internet here later this week, so thank God.
Oh,
good. So let me.
Well, while we're doing that, my Toledo Rockets beat the hapless Akron Zips 49-14. They're now bowl eligible. So here we come, Detroit, probably.
So yeah. Look at that. Look at that.
Wow.
But you want to know what's
they have Flames colors. That's kind of cool.
You want to know? Well, the whole thing about those are Flames colors. It's like that's actually just kind of the sporting colors of Calgary. But if you want to see something really amazing, here is the timeline the Calgary Dinos. Oh, that did not work. Did that work? No, that did not work. I don't know why that didn't work. All right.
It just didn't paste right here.
I don't know. But yeah.
It has always been bad, basically.
Yes.
So I copy the whole link and paste it into your address bar. You'll get this. Basically, at the beginning in the 1960s, it was some sort of awful lizard thing with it doesn't know what it looks like, an abomination that wants to die. And then in the 70s, it becomes this skinless, muscle T-Rex over Dino. But the best one, that 80s one, oh, it's so good. It's a dinosaur T-Rex in a scarf.
Sweater.
Before we go too far off the deep end on Canadian college football logos, we've had a question sitting here from the beginning of the show from Chaos Blast, who's one of our most loyal listeners.
Yes.
And he wants to talk to Zach, and I'm assuming Mike, about this. So let's throw it up there. Since Zach is back, I have a legitimate soccer question for him. Does Canada have a realistic shot at making it to the World Cup? Zach, take it away. I'll be right back.
The answer that I'm surprised to give is yes. So there's you play 14 games in this final stage of qualifying in the octagonal, as it now is. We're 8 games in out of the 14, and Canada sits on top of the table, 13 points. They've yet to lose a game outright, 4 wins, 4 draws for that cool 13 points. Just ahead of the U.S., who has 12 points. They got 1 loss, and 2 points ahead of Mexico, who also have 2 losses. And yeah, Panama's still right there as an outside team, but the top 4 in CONCACAF, as it is, the North American, Central American, Caribbean Federation. The top 4 have kind of separated themselves from the bottom half. And the way it works is the top 3 places automatically qualify for the World Cup. And they just had this draw last week. The 4th place team will play the champion of the Oceania region, which is traditionally New Zealand and should be New Zealand again. So, I don't expect Canada, the U.S., or Mexico to fall below Panama. Panama's feisty for sure, but I think those 3 teams are clearly better. The short answer is yes, I think so. And at the very worst, they'll go in a playoff against New Zealand, and God knows we love a good Commonwealth matchup. So
we do need also to, before we get out of here, to discuss, or we can say the USFL new logos for the returning of the USFL.
We have the USFL logos. We have the Olympic jerseys to talk about as well.
We also have the Devil's alternate.
The New Jersey's jersey.
Let's do this. Let's talk about the hockey jerseys here, and we'll set aside the USFL for next week. We could devote a lot of time to the USFL.
Sure.
So, yeah, what
as
do you
we
want
discovered during our helmet draft, the USFL is quite a contentious league. So,
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, what do you got? You want to start with the Olympic sweaters, or do you want to do the jersey?
Let's we'll go Olympics because I think we can just trash those pretty good.
All right, Zach. What did I miss on the soccer? Are they going to make it or not?
Canada's going to make it. Probably.
At best, yes. At worst, they'll be in a playoff against New Zealand.
Okay.
But yeah, so the USA and Canada unveiled their Winter Olympic uniform, their Winter Olympic hockey uniforms for the 2022 games in Beijing.
Andy's description of the USA look, I think perfectly sums it up.
I paid a judge to get my son's rape case
to drop his rape case. Yeah, it's like you said. Well, Mike, you described it as like uniforms or something. It was something
they looked like yacht club windbreakers.
Right.
Yeah, they have aggressive Ralph Lauren energy, and I just
like this is what you expect a bunch of like 1% spawn to be wearing at a yacht club, like on a chilly day, right? It's
and when they accidentally kill one of the prostitutes, that's what they're wearing when they get arrested, and it's just right down the line. Andy he nailed it. Absolutely.
The thing that I find really telling about both Canada and the United States' uniforms here is that I feel like in a bubble, it should be really easy to design really good Canada and US hockey jerseys.
It's really not difficult.
Like, you know,
like the US either wears the 1960 jerseys or the 1980 jerseys. And that's about where it stops and starts.
Yeah.
And Canada is jersey with maple leaf. And yes, they did that.
They just did it in the worst way possible. Like it's really interesting in that, like, one of my pet peeves about Canada's jerseys historically have been that they've worked in a word mark. Like, it's always a maple leaf with like text that says Canada, and the maple leaf is a very distinctive symbol, and Canada is the only country that uses it. And so I feel like we should be able to get away with just using a standalone maple leaf. And these did it, but wow, like,
yeah. Honestly, if these things didn't have black, they'd be fine.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, yeah.
Mike, what's the deal with Canada always having black? What is that? Because I feel like they've done this for a while now.
Okay. So this has to do with the fact that Canada's colors have always been red and white. From a heraldic sense, they've always been red and white. And this goes back to when the armaments, the heraldry for Canada was being hashed out within the British imperial system, and red and white were chosen because during the Crusades, English knights were represented by a red cross, and French knights were represented by a white cross, and so you had red and white for the two founding peoples, you know, the English and the French. And you have a maple leaf because that's like the symbol of the country, and maple leaves turn, you know, red in the fall. So it's just perfect. You have red and white. Those are the country's colors. But like hockey, in terms of hockey, they've always sort of struggled to find a third color to complement it. For whatever reason, committing to just straight up red and white has never really been an option. The things that come to mind are the 72 Summit series, right? Between Canada.
Wasn't that when they used blue?
No, they had black pants. The jerseys were red and white. The jerseys were just straight red and white, but they had black pants and gloves. But going to what Zach said, that like the 72 Summit series was sort of a renaissance for Canadian hockey on an international scale because they got exposed to the Soviet style of play. So Canadian hockey became quicker, more streamlined as a response. And the Canadian teams that then, you know, saw a lot of success in the 80s, in the late 70s into the 80s, wore blue. Actually, you know, we kind of think because Canada and the U.S. have this hockey rivalry that red, white, and blue is, you know, that's the U.S.'s color scheme. But Canada actually wore red, white, and blue,
which is weird,
for a long time in the 70s through the 80s. Mostly the jerseys would be red and white, and the equipment would be blue. But you can find jerseys from the 70s and 80s that had blue highlights on them. You also had a brief period in the 70s where they tried black and green as complements to red and white.
Yes, I've seen this.
It's not good.
No.
And then the 90s happened, and I guess a combination of just sort of 90s trends, red, white, and black was a popular 90s color scheme. Yeah. And the fact that the United States started getting better in hockey come the 90s, so that Canada-US rivalry actually started heating up. Maybe Canada felt they needed to drop the blue, and black kind of came back as the accent color. And They've been red, white, and black consistently since the 90s. Sometimes they work in silver as an accent. Sometimes they work in gold as an accent. But
Alchemy.
Pardon?
Alchemy.
Yes, Alchemy. I actually have an Alchemy jersey, but it's this really weird thing. I've never minded it on an equipment side, like if the gloves and the pants and the helmets are going to be black, like that's
right,
fine.
Like on the white one.
Yeah. But I just don't like. I have never really liked it. I would agree with Chaos Blast that the last good like Canadian hockey uniforms were the 2002 uniforms.
I like the 2012 ones.
I think you mean the 2010 ones.
2010, yeah.
The 2010 ones. Yeah, the 2010 ones weren't bad, but you know, I'd say those were decent, but yeah. Like
I mean, the main problem with these ones is that they got rid of the white.
They got rid of
go like full black maple leaf on the red jersey with black stripes and black shoulder. Like the white as the primary secondary color is non-existent.
Well,
it's not there.
Well, Canada has had black alternates since 2002,
right. And the alternates are what they are. But like, man, to put it all on the red jersey like that is. That's where it loses me.
I would like this set more if the red jerseys had white instead of black, but they don't. I'm also not a fan of the shoulder caps. Like,
I'd say those are fucking terrible. Those little shoulder things.
That's a Nike thing. Nike loves to accent their templates by color blocking some of the panels. And this is their choice of color block of panel this year, I guess.
I don't like it, and then of course the thing that like really enrages me that the Nike speak got all up its own ass about was like it's like I like that they decided we're gonna just go with the standalone maple leaf. We're not gonna add any text. We're not gonna have a hockey player silhouette in it. We're just gonna have a maple leaf, but. Then they added this weird geometric pattern in the leaf that someone on Twitter pointed out looked like a turkey's butthole. It's hard to disagree with that.
Yeah, it's supposed to represent the lines on an Arctic wind and snowdrift map.
Which Nike, go fuck yourselves. All right,
stupid.
Like
you don't have to say anything. All you can say is, "Well, we thought it kind of looked cool." Okay,
yeah.
Don't blow this stuff up my ass about other lines. Shut up. It's not that.
The other thing that is also on the U.S. jersey, so I just assume that's the Nike font for the year. Mm-hmm. This beveling nonsense on the numbers is
the bevel. It's really
because it's also on the U.S. jerseys and on the word mark of the U.S. jerseys. It's not good. I don't like it.
Like
everything else on the jersey is flat except for that, which you decided to make look beveled for reasons beyond my comprehension.
There are so many ways that you could. There are so many ways that you could make a simple U.S. hockey jersey look good. There's so many simple ways you could do it for Canada.
God, look at that shit.
They're so bad.
It's just like I said. This looks like a windbreaker you'd wear on the most waspy ass like yacht club boating trip. Like,
yeah.
This looks like a soccer kit. Like a very vanilla soccer kit. Like I don't.
It's
plus,
better.
Zach,
it's better than the wing nonsense from the last Olympics that the U.S. teams have been holding on to ever since. But
these are awful.
They're bad. No, it's so funny because every major tournament, like I even though I see this and you just have to look at the patch on the chest to know. They're going to bust out the much superior 1960s thing as an alternate for the Canada game. It's what they do every single tournament. And yet, they don't want to show it to us because they know that's what we want. Instead, they gave us as we said, big yacht club energy, and it's not it. This isn't even like U.S. hockey culture isn't limited to like the yacht club sector of this country. Like this is not what USA hockey looks like. It just isn't.
When I think USA hockey, the two uniforms that come to mind for me are the the 60s look, like that we see up here, like right here, like this is just, you can't really beat this.
That's it. You're done.
Or if you need something more than this, like the 2002 look. With the USA hockey flag ribbon logo, like it's not great. It's not great, but it's better than.
That's still, by the way, that's still technically the USA hockey logo, but the Olympics have now outlawed
Federation logos.
So that's why we get the shield instead. If you go back to the USA article on the mothership, they have a picture of all the Olympic jerseys that the NHLers have worn.
Yeah, and I don't know. I like even the 2010 uniforms for the United States.
I have that one. I have that one. It's simple. I wish the USA took up a little bit more real estate on the front, but there's some really cool details in that jersey that I liked.
And hell, even Sochi for the US was pretty good. Was pretty solid.
That one has a bunch of rubber stars on the shoulders that I don't like.
Well, yeah, but I think but
the shield on the front, like that's good. That's a good place to start. And it's again, the shield is again on these jerseys, but you've relegated it to barely bigger than the Nike swoosh, and now you have this sweater, like not like hockey sweater, but literal sweater stripe across the front, and it's bad. It's real bad.
Are we going to talk about the USFL stuff, the new teams?
Yeah. So, by the way, when you were off watching a dish or whatever it was you were doing, we kind of said we'd table the USFL for next week because there's a lot to do about that show.
No problem. Well, because I know that we had a request tonight to talk a little bit about Tom O'Grady, so we'll hold on for that.
Yeah.
We could talk. That.
Fill me in on this. Fill me in on this, guys. I don't know what the hell's going on.
We'll save it for next week because I don't know how familiar you and Zach are with Mr. O'Grady, but
I remember his conversation with you guys, and I remember his stint on the boards. Yeah.
Needless to say, he's having a bit of a temper tantrum about the USFL logos.
Again, he has a temper tantrum about something every fucking day, so it's just typical Tom O'Grady.
So to move on from the Olympic jerseys, if we're done, we also have to talk about New Jersey's jersey.
What I loved about these were that the NHL is coming out with a line of hats modeled after teams' third jerseys, and someone has photoshopped the New Jersey one to just say hat.
No, New Jersey did that, and they're going to make them. Yeah, they're making them.
Yeah, they're leaning into it. Yeah.
Go fuck yourselves, devils.
And as I sent to you, there's a hockey T-shirt company that I follow that has made a shirt that says "shirt."
My first, and of course I would go here, but my first response actually wasn't that it was a jersey that said Jersey on it. I was just like, it's nice to see the Channel Islands get some representation in the NHL.
Well, here's my problem with it, right? And Andy, you kind of hit the nail on the head. I've seen this jersey before.
Yeah.
It's the Blackhawks throwback.
Yeah.
Just with a different thing on the front.
Now that's just not true, Zach, because we have some Adidas speak.
Oh boy. Oh no. This isn't Adidas speak. This is something entirely new. This is Brodeur speak. Because apparently Martin Brodeur designed these damn things.
So to go through this, and yes, I do want to say, kidding aside, this is just the Blackhawks throwback with a stupid jersey word mark strapped on the front, and but to go with the Brodeur speak, the thing that really made me just shake my head was they said that the laces represented Martin Brodeur. because you know,
apparently the way that worked out, the ESPN had a whole interview with him and somebody else. What they wanted to do was going to be much more intricate than what they pulled off, because they found out that they just simply couldn't do what Martin Brodeur wanted it to look like. So instead, they just sort of have like a cross hatching of what a net would look like on the laces themselves.
It just makes me roll my eyes, because hockey laces have been like laces on jerseys have been a thing in hockey since like the goddamn like 40s.
Yeah.
And it's like every team that wants an old school look, right, rolls out an alternate with the laces on it, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not criticizing it. Like,
well, I traditionally like laces.
Yeah, I like laces too. I think it's a good hockey look, but don't blow this up my ass and tell me it's like, oh, the laces represent Martin Brodeur. Fuck you. No, they don't. All right.
I mean, like New Jersey's like, this is the first alternate in their history. Basically, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
aside from throwbacks, yes.
Yeah, those don't
when they played, even when they played in the Stadium Series, where the year everybody had the chrome logos and stripes and stuff. Lou Lamoriello was such a stick in the mud that he was like, "No, we're not doing that. We're just gonna we're not doing it. Well, you have to wear a different jersey. Well, then we will wear a jersey that we have already worn, and so
we'll wear the throwbacks. Yeah.
But I mean, you know, and
the retros, all they did was take the old jersey and flip the colors. This is the first truly new design for a Devils jersey in their history.
Swing and a miss. They've the thing is, you know, their current look is certainly not perfect. They've kind of fucked with the Devils
than the old one. Yeah.
I mean, they ever since they squared those shoulders off, they fucked everything up, and but the crest, though, and I feel like the number font is immaculate and perfect.
The Devils' primary uniforms have my favorite number font in all sports.
Yeah, it's
really nice.
Which they are using on the shoulders.
Yes.
Well, I mean, whatever. They carried that over time. But, you know, if this jersey script was the best you could do...
Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry.
Is that like...
Some of the bullshit.
I mean, it's just like, you know...
the jersey script, which... some words here. The crest, an unabashed proclamation that above all else, we play for Jersey. A black base, a never before worn base color, outfitting a Devils team led by a group of core phenoms and taking us into the next era. And of course, the word mark has a touch of red, acknowledging our legacy as the New Jersey Devils, the constant color that represents our team, which literally is like, we used red because it is a team color.
First of all, I just want to say, you motherfuckers, we put Jersey on the front. And it's like, I know people call it Jersey, but you want to know what? I'm going to be a fucking stickler. You want to, we proudly proclaim where we play. No, what you put on the front of your jersey was the name of a small island off the coast of France, in between France and England, which is technically not part of the United Kingdom, but still governed under the British Crown through Queen Elizabeth's role as the Duke of Normandy. That's what you fucking put on your jerseys, you dumbasses. You fucking...
You also put the what the word is of the thing you're wearing.
Yes, and you also put the word Jersey on front of a jersey.
The only way it would be more on the nose is if it said sweater. Other than that, it's right there. The 21 counties that make up New Jersey, 5 stripes on the left shoulder above the heart, in particular, are a nod to the 5. What the fuck does this even mean?
Yeah, okay, so they've got 5
stripes on the shoulders for the retired numbers.
Yeah.
What do the 21 counties have to do with
it? No, you know what this is? They designed the jersey and said, "Oh, our jersey has 21 stripes. You know what else is 21? The number of counties in Jersey." And someone was like, "Whoa."
The whole thing that pisses me off about the stripes is that they go like, okay, each shoulder has 5 stripes on it, right? It's basically a continuous striping pattern across the shoulders, and that's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with it. You know, it's a good looking.
Wait a second. Uniform. Are they counting each stripe on either side of the jersey as a different stripe?
I think so. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
That number font is nice. I like that.
So they're going. They're going that the 5 stripes above the heart, particularly just those 5.
Yeah, right.
Just those 5 represent the retired numbers of the team.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
It's like this
It
whole
also,
thing.
it's not just because, as the picture shows, that it's a similar look to the Newark Bulldogs and the Rivervale Skeeters and the Jersey Larks. It has nothing to do with, like, they're combining 7 different things into one and saying, like, oh, look how smart we were. It's like,
Well, the thing that really, like, this isn't the first time we've heard about the Newark Bulldogs. When they redesigned their uniforms for the Adidas changeover, they said that, like, the stripe across the hem was supposed to be a nod to the Bulldogs. And I just want to ask, why the fuck should Devils fans care about the Newark Bulldogs?
They don't. They were all dead.
I mean, like, look. I get why the Seattle Kraken want to honor the Seattle Metropolitans, because the Seattle Metropolitans are actually historically significant. They're the first American-based team to win the Stanley Cup. That's a big deal, and so you wanna respect that part of the city's hockey history. I get it. What did the New York Bulldogs ever accomplish of note that is relevant to anybody? Like,
yeah.
Mike,
so the other thing, as I stare at these jerseys, there are 2 things that stand out to me that really have now kind of sent me over on them. The word mark itself, the J does not connect to the ERS, which does not connect to the EY.
No.
It's a script that doesn't connect to each other.
No.
And then the other thing, as I'm scrolling through, they gave up the game in one of these graphics that they made. If you scroll down to the one where Martin Brodeur is looking into the middle distance somewhere, in the top left corner, they have the NJ of the New Jersey Devils without the circle on it, just the red NJ on a black background. You know where that would have looked pretty darn good?
The front of a jersey.
The front of a jersey. Like, then all the New Jersey Devils ever had to do was give us a black jersey with the red NJ without the circle, and then some red stripes and numbers, and there you go.
I mean, there is it was up on the stream. Yeah, you know what we wanted versus what we got. like, god damn, this is just so bad.
My favorite part of all the descriptions of why these things represent whatever is we used red because it's a team color. Like,
you don't say.
Fascinating, truly.
Real reach into the dip into the creative well there of inspiration. They should have just had. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, they should have just
same thing. Go ahead.
So they should have had the logo or the crest be just slob, like a mustachioed slob smoking a cigarette and saying "Go fuck yourself," and that would have been way more representative.
Of Jersey
instead of just this lame script. But
so we've got this quote here that Martin Brodeur said, which I think is kind of telling in a way he didn't intend for it to be. To quote Martin Brodeur, the alumni guys, Scott Niedermayer and Patrick Elias, were kind of in shock when I first showed them the jersey. Brodeur's like, they were shocked that we were doing a black jersey, but the way it reads, it's like Martin Brodeur designed this shit jersey, showed it to some other Devils alumni, and they were like, what the fuck did you do?
Yeah, it's just a thing of like, this is the first alternate jersey in a franchise that historically was just so staunchly opposed to them.
Mm-hmm.
So that when you finally do it, it should be like, okay, we're finally giving in to the fans. This is something that we all want. It's going to be super cool, and we're going to love it. And this is all you came up with.
Well, the thing about it, right, is that, like, even Brodeur mentions that he thought it would have been cool if, when he was playing, the Devils had a black alternate. And fans have wanted a black alternate for a long time. And you've got to think that, you know, what you said, Zach, is the way to go. Like, black jersey with the red NJ and some red stripes. Like, this really does feel overthought. Like, they started with the concept of, okay, we're going to do a black alternate because that's what the fans have wanted for a long time. And then they couldn't just leave it at that. They had to keep piling crap on. Like, I just don't. I don't get the thought process of why things had to go in this direction, and just like the black represents the young core of the team of the future. What? How? No.
Well, now there are only 2 teams in the NHL that have yet to have an alternate jersey.
Who would those be?
Anyone want to take stabs? Do you know?
So which teams do not
The Red
have an
Wings.
I've never had an alternate.
The Red Wings.
Okay.
The Red Wings are the one,
Seattle.
Indians?
and Seattle. Yeah.
Oh,
No, they're kidding.
Seattle's around a year. That's not fair.
Yeah, I mean, they played like 12 games. Give them
Montreal's worn a few throwbacks as alternates.
Right, as third jerseys, they
Yeah.
were officially designated as thirds, like the
Well,
white
they-
with the blue stripe.
Didn't the Red Wings? They did. They wore a. Remember those like white jerseys with silver on them or whatever.
Oh,
They had,
that was
Those were-
reverse
stadium-
retros.
Yeah, stadium
No,
series.
no,
reverse
stadium
retro.
series stuff, like
Okay.
anything that wasn't for an event, like an actual designated third jersey. The Red
Okay.
Wings have never actually had one.
Oh, by the way, this exciting young core of the Devils gonna lead us into the future, and the black represents the great march. You're 6th in the Metropolitan. You've got a -1 goal differential, so good job, guys.
Speaking of uniform stuff and Nike, I did have a brief little fun thing I wanted to try before out of here.
Okay.
It's basically a like guess that team which did a resign based on the quote I'm going to give you.
Oh,
So basically, so these are it's not necessarily Nike speak, but it's as good as these are from the quotes from
It's that whole designer talk out your ass to justify
Right.
arbitrary bullshit. Yeah.
Right. So I'll go ahead and just read them here. Feel free to guess them. Some of them are probably easier than others. So this was 2011.
The brown remains unchanged.
If our ballpark speak, its first words would be "Hola." I was behind most of the design decisions. This look is cool. International.
Dodgers.
No. This 2011 baseball redesign.
Diamondbacks.
Sorry?
Diamondbacks.
No. So 2011, this is a rebrand
Marlins?
where
Marlins.
yes, Miami Marlins when they became the Miami Marlins.
Oh, with that Art Deco neon. You know what? I liked that look. That look wasn't as bad as people made it out.
I have
But
that.
did that look say Ola?
No, I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't say it said "Hola." I just thought it looked
I saw it. My brother bought me the black jersey of the old the prior. I love that thing, man.
I mean, it wasn't the best thing ever, but it's better than what they wear now. But
yeah.
But okay. What's the next one?
Okay, I think the logo harkens to the vanguard of courage. The idea that you put a shield on the hockey uniform. From my perspective, it's pretty easy. There's no organization in our society that has more victories to its credit than the U.S. Army. That's what a winning hockey team is.
Vegas.
No.
Florida.
What?
Yep.
Oh
2016.
yeah,
The Florida Panthers.
The Florida when the Florida Panthers really leaned into the Army dress up. It was only only shadowed because Vegas somehow leaned into it harder.
Well, because how could we forget Captain Florida?
Captain Florida, yeah. Go fuck it. The Shield, America, the Florida Panthers.
Panther, yeah.
The idea that the Florida Panthers are going to be like the vanguard of America.
Of anything.
Okay, what's up?
All right, next one. This is a player's perspective. It's from the year 2000.
Fucking sick, bro.
They're better than our old colors because there's a much darker presence on the field, and I think that will carry over into our attitude. Yellow's just a soft color. I mean, it's associated with a lot of things that have to do with weakness. The last thing you want when you go on a football field is to seem weak.
Is it the Rams?
It is the Rams when they went to the Notre Dame colors right after the Super Bowl.
That's a bad take.
That did not age well, considering that everyone spent 3 years yelling at them to go back to the throwbacks.
Do you have who said that, Andy?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. It was Todd Light.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say it couldn't have been Kurt Warner because he didn't mention Jesus.
So he thought the yellow, the gold, the athletic gold,
yeah,
was weak. People thought the yellow of the Rams blue and gold.
What's really amazing is that he said that after they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right.
In those uniforms.
Well, Todd Light was also a Notre Dame alumnus, so he probably was all for the color.
Gold. Then yeah.
Yeah. I got one more here. It's a little bit more specific than just a uniform. It's kind of a uniform unveiling. It was the right moment, the right team. This is from Lawrence Norman, Adidas' vice president of global basketball. Insert masturbation hand movement here. Even more important, the right city. When you launch something as innovative as this, that will change the way players look on the court and the way that fans support the team forever. Why not launch it in the most innovative part of the United States? It's from 2013.
Is this when they put the sleeves on jerseys?
Yep, very good. Do you know what team it was, though?
Golden State, yeah.
Yep, Golden State Warriors sleeved jerseys debut.
Oh,
and those are the ones where the shorts had pinstripes, but the shirts didn't.
I think so.
Yeah, the gold, right?
God.
Yeah.
Let me take a look here. I mean, they were terrible uniforms. Oh yeah, so those are bad. Those were really bad.
I remember it was just really telling that teams were like players were like cutting the seams into the sleeves because they were too restrictive. Like the whole thing was just dead on arrival.
Yeah, see, hideous. But I thought that I'm going to try and find some more. It's really difficult, though, to get like vague. You have to kind of not exactly reveal, because a lot of things are like, we were inspired by the beach of California or whatever, so it's hard to.
The Fibonacci sequence. Yeah.
But I do want to point out regarding the sleeved basketball jerseys, sleeved NBA jerseys. The Cleveland Cavaliers won wearing sleeves.
Yeah,
it's a damn shame.
Since 1964, and they do it in the ugliest fucking uniforms that have ever existed in that city, and that's saying something, folks.
I mean, how Cleveland is that though? Like what a terrible thing that is. There's.
As soon as they came out and those abominations, like they're going to win this thing because of course they are. Because look at how they look. Of course they're going to win, and they did.
Yep.
Good series though. It was fun.
Yeah, good team all the while. Just good season all around for them. But yeah, bad look. I got nothing else, guys. That was all I had. So we can try this again next week if I can call up some good quotes. But yeah.
Do you guys also? I know we're doing the USFL stuff next week, but do you guys want to talk about? Andy, you had the idea about like the all-time worst alternate.
Yeah, so I thought that what we could do, and this wouldn't necessarily be a draft. I thought we could basically establish a ring of honor of worst alternate uniforms.
Okay, and are we limiting this to the Big Four, or are we going to go? Can we?
Well, yeah. So where did you want to limit it? I don't want to know. I'm thinking. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. I think we should just limit it to the Big Four, and if we wanted to, we could just go league by league. But it's up to you guys, if you'd rather do it all in one fell swoop.
Yeah, we should keep it to the Big Four because we could go down the rabbit hole in the minor leagues and be there for days.
Yeah.
I could discover 1,000 bad soccer jerseys. Yeah.
I mean, I've got pictures from when I went to a Akron. What were they back then? They're the Rubber Ducks now. They were the Arrows, where they wore tie-dyed baseball jerseys, and they were horrible. So we could go on. Let's keep it to the Big Four.
Let's do this. Let's try to find the top 3 for each of the Big Four.
Okay.
And kind of establish a ring of honor of 12 fucking terrible alternates, and kind of present your cases for those. We'll probably have some agreements. Do you want to do that next week? That'd be fun, or we could save it for next couple weeks or something to do.
Well, we can whenever you guys want to do it. I was going to suggest too, because we're coming up on the holiday season. If anybody's interested out there that's listening, we could do maybe do a lounge report to close out the season this year, this year. But,
we won't have our traditional Star Wars thing.
No,
We'll have Spider-Man, which I don't know if you guys heard about the debacle that was getting tickets for Spider-Man last night, but
no.
What happened?
well, no. So Spider-Man comes out on December 17th with
okay.
the opening night on the 16th. The tickets went on sale at midnight Pacific, or midnight Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific. Within 5 minutes, Fandango, Regal, AMC, Cinemark all crashed.
Oh God.
And nobody could get anything. And it was a fight for I started at 9:15 local time, and I didn't actually buy my ticket. I finally was able to buy a ticket at 1:15 in the morning.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow. Speaking of superhero movies, I finally sat down and watched the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League.
I'm sorry.
You know what? It wasn't great. I'm not going to say it was great, but it was okay. It was, I watched it over 3 days because it's like, what, 5 hours long?
Did you like the 4x3 presentation?
No. I thought something was wrong with my television. I kept going, what the fuck is this? No,
I still haven't watched it yet, and I think that's the thing that's going to be the worst.
Dude, it totally throws you off so bad because first, like I said, I'm watching all of a sudden I went, wait a minute, this isn't right. It's like, yeah, so it wasn't terrible, it wasn't great, it was okay. I did not see the original, so I don't know how it compares to the what was it, Joss Whedon version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know how it compares, but I thought it was solid. All right,
fair enough.
But
let's kind of, we can discuss the Lounge Report stuff a little more next week. So next week we can do USFL and what's that jackass from the board? You want to talk about Tom O'Grady?
Tom O'Grady and his USFL temper tantrum.
Game Creative in Chicago. The guy designed some of the 90s NBA logos, and he's been riding that fucking horse ever since. And just the story that we were requested to address was that, and we'll get to it next week, but that the Panthers put out their new logo for the USFL. Tom O'Grady, or Grady, whatever the fuck his name is, decides that they have ripped off his Charlotte Bobcats logo. And it's like, dude, the Michigan Panthers were around for like 20 years before the Bobcats ever came.
The Charlotte Bobcats is what he's mad about?
Yeah.
This dude is such a... I said it on the boards. I'll say it here. Of all the people I've worked with at any level, I'm talking like from just doing like an interview on a podcast to whatever I've done, he is by far and away the worst asshole I've ever dealt with in my life. And it's not even close. Not even
talking
close.
About Bobcats. The Bobcats?
The Bobcats.
The Bobcats.
He is convinced that the Michigan Panthers stole their new logo from the Bobcats. It's like, no, it's an update of their old fucking logo, you idiot.
No one would steal anything from Bob's Cats.
No.
They were actually literally Bob's Cats. That's why they were called that.
We'll get into all that stuff next week too, and we'll do it's a perfect segue to the bad alternate jerseys, so it should be fun.
Yeah, should be. Well, so next week we can establish the bad jersey Ring of Honor, the bad alternate jersey Ring of Honor, talk USFL and Tom O'Grady. I think that's a nice way to fill a couple hours.
Sounds good.
It sounds good. And we will with that we will call it a night. Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports. Subscribe via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and the YouTubes, and wherever fine podcasting is sold. We will see you all next week.